Every day is like any other day. When you wake up in the morning, you wash your face, brush your teeth, and eat breakfast. Then you go to school, meet your friends, chat about your weekend plans, do some homework together, walk home, and sleep. But sometimes life can change in the blink of an eye. A moment that seemed ordinary turns out to be extraordinary. A chance encounter becomes a turning point. A memory surfaces, a dream appears. These moments shape who we are and what we become. They are the turning points in our lives. A young woman was walking down the street on her way to work. Her name was Nana. She worked in a cafe and had just finished her shift. It was late at night and most people were asleep. Nana was tired after a long day of work and all she wanted to do was go home and sleep. She walked past an old building and suddenly she heard a familiar voice. It was a man's voice, and it sounded like he was crying. Nana stopped in her tracks and listened intently. Was she imagining things, or was someone really crying inside the building? Curious, Nana decided to investigate. She walked closer to the building and listened carefully. The voice was coming from the second floor. Nana looked up and saw a window. She couldn't see inside, but she could hear the man's voice. He was sobbing uncontrollably, and it sounded like he was in pain. Nana hesitated for a moment, but something compelled her to take action. She walked up the stairs and knocked on the window. When she knocked on the window, the man inside suddenly stopped crying. Nana waited patiently, hoping that whoever was inside would respond. After a few moments, the window opened and a man's head appeared. The man was middle-aged and his eyes were red and swollen, as if he had been crying for a long time. He looked at Nana in surprise. Can I help you? He asked. His voice was hoarse and weak. Nana hesitated for a moment, not knowing what to say. She had only heard the man's voice and had no idea who he was or why he was crying. Finally, she spoke. I heard you crying and I was worried, she said softly. The man looked at Nana for a moment, then closed the window. Nana stood there awkwardly, unsure of what to do next. She didn't want to intrude, but she couldn't help but worry about the man. As Nana stood there thinking of what to do, she noticed a small opening near the window. It was just big enough for her to squeeze through. Without thinking twice, she crawled through the opening and found herself inside the man's apartment. The apartment was dark and dusty, and it looked like it hadn't been lived in for a long time. Nana called out to the man, but there was no response. She could still hear him crying softly in the other room. Nana cautiously approached the man's voice and found him sitting on the floor with his back against the wall. He was holding a photo frame in his hands and tears were streaming down his face. Nana felt a pang of sympathy and walked towards the man. "Excuse me," she said softly. The man jumped in surprise and quickly wiped away his tears. He looked up at Nana and tried to compose himself. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to cry. I haven't been feeling well lately." Nana looked at the man with concern. She could tell that something was bothering him, but he didn't want to talk about it. "Is there anything I can do to help?" she asked. The man shook his head. "No, it's all right. I'm sure it's nothing you'd be interested in," he said dismissively. Nana wasn't sure what to say. She could see that the man was struggling, but he didn't want her help. She didn't want to force him, but she couldn't help but feel concerned. Suddenly, Nana noticed the photo frame in the man's hand. She took a closer look and saw a picture of a young girl. The girl looked happy and carefree, and Nana couldn't help but smile. It was clear that the girl was important to the man. "Who is this?" Nana asked gently. The man looked down at the photo, and a single tear rolled down his cheek. "This is my daughter," he whispered. "Her name is Hana."